Hey, here we go. Winning formula into a game against the Buffalo Bills. This is a 7-1 winning formula, okay? So let's find a way to beat these Buffalo Bills, move to 8-1, take care of festivities after that. I'm Paul Allen. To my left, Pete Bercich, former player and coach for the Minnesota Vikings, analyst for the Vikings Radio Network. Gabe Henderson, your friend from the Vikings Entertainment Network and Vikings.com. And the winning formula, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery, begins like this. Pete, slowing Stephon Diggs and or Gabriel Davis, no matter the quarterback, Allen or Keenum, what do you do?
There's a couple of things. I mean, you have to switch up the looks, right? You can't just line up off all day long or line up, rolled up on him because Diggs is just too good of a receiver. He's got great moves. And then you also have to know at all times if you have help and where is your help. Because wherever your help is, you have to overplay the other side. And if you have a safety deep in the middle, you cannot let yourself get too far over the top and give them the sideline. And then I think the third thing is really you got to keep an eye on the quarterback, but when he starts to scramble, you got to pace to whoever you're covering because Josh Allen, whoever's at quarterback, in case Keenum can scramble as well. So whoever's at quarterback, you gotta make sure that you're covering your guy until the whistle blows.
Yeah, being disciplined is key. Like you said, that scramble drill is where Josh Allen gets a lot of his yards. He has a strong arm. He can do everything you need to do. But Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs, in my opinion, are two different receivers. Stephon Diggs is more shifty, better route runner. Gabriel Davis will take the top off. So whoever's guarding those guys, understand their strengths, understand their weaknesses. And like Pete said, once you start disguising those coverages, Josh Allen or whoever the quarterback will be, he'll start forcing some throws. And the New York Jets should have had 3 interceptions last week, but you just got to stay disciplined, understand your assignment, and understand what those guys like to do best.
And to Gabe's point, Gabriel Davis had a 98-yard touchdown earlier this season. So he's just fantastic, part of that 2020 draft with JJ and all those fantastic receivers. Now, with Gabe, let's stay there with the Vikings offense. The artillery that is offered here with Dalvin Cook and Madison running, and then obviously the receivers and the new tight end, what's the best way consistently to move the ball on this team? Is it by land or by air?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I say that because when I looked at the New York Jets film last week, the New York Jets in the first 3 quarters nickeled and dimed their way down the field using the pass. They had a couple of explosive runs on the outside, but once you got to the 4th quarter, this Buffalo Bills defense started to get worn down, and you started seeing runs. There were 9 straight runs of 82 yards for this New York Jets offense. So there are opportunities to run the ball on this Buffalo Bills team that's given up 380-plus yards on the ground in the past 2 weeks. But I feel like you have to mix it up a little bit. You can't just be one-dimensional because once you're one-dimensional, those guys will start to key in on certain things and they'll start to kill you. I mean, this is the top 10 defense in the NFL, so they know how to play defense. It's just switching those things up and understanding what works when it works best.
And to piggyback on what Gabe was saying, the Jets, when at that last drive, when they had to burn the clock out, right, move the football, they ran the same play over and over and over again.
And it worked?
They flipped it one way. They had two running plays.
Sweet.
But they ran that same play 4 times. And it's a mentality. It's, hey, we're going to keep running this until you guys stop it. And they just kept getting yards and yards and yards. You have to stick with the run. I think you have to be a little bit more balanced than what we've been. But with this front, with a 4-man front, I think what you need to do is formation them. And by that, I mean 2, 3 receivers to one side, and then you know what you have on the backside. You can get your number counts that way. And so I think we're going to see a lot more of those types of formations. And also, they don't play a true 4-3. They almost always have a nickel back in. So if you go fullback, extra tight end, you're going to have only 5, let's call it big men on the field. So you might be able to, pound some footballs in there and move the chains a few times if you play big on small.
Bold predictions. Now, last week, Gabe's bold prediction was Kirk Cousins would have the first 300-yard passing game of the season. And you got so close, man. I was pulling for you during the call, too. What are you going to come back with this week?
Dalvin Cook has more rushing yards than his brother James Cook on Sunday. James Cook is the Buffalo Bills running back. Hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game this season. Dalvin Cook I think he's going to have 100 yards rushing, and he's going to beat little bro James.
Amen. I'll go with it, Peter.
My bold prediction is going to be that Daniil Hunter has 2 more sacks.
Wow.
I like his matchup with Deion Dawkins.
Yeah, pretty good offensive line, too, for Buffalo.
Yeah, if they're going to concentrate and worry more about Zadarius Smith, I think that Daniil's going to have another great day.
Dawkins, Roger Saffold, the former Titan and Ram, and Morse, the center, is really, really good. That's going to be a good challenge. My bold prediction is KJ Osborne, who had all of 0 catches adjacent to the nation's capital. KJ is going to catch a game-winning touchdown against the Buffalo Bills. So they all came to see Steph, left talking about the cold-blooded cane. For Gabe and Pete, I'm Paul. Thank you, Minnesota Lottery. Thank you, Curly Harris, for the production. That's your winning formula.